The central question we're tackling today is this. What exactly happens inside your cells, your brain, and even your mood when you stop eating for 12, 24, or, all the way up to 72 hours? We're going to look at these hidden survival mechanisms that honestly, most of us never let our bodies tap into, simply because we rarely go long enough without a meal to flip the switch.
To understand all this, we've mapped out a biological clock. We'll be tracking the precise hour-by-hour changes that transform your body from a constant state of digestion and growth into a remarkably efficient, self-cleaning machine. So we'll trace the journey from the 12-hour mark all the way to the extreme cellular renewal at 72 hours.
But before we start that clock, let's cover the fed versus fasted state.
Human biology basically operates like a seesaw between two totally distinct states. You're generally in one or the other. As Stanford neurobiologist Dr. Andrew Huberman explains, whenever you eat, and it doesn't matter if it's plant-based, meat, fat, or carbs, your blood glucose and insulin go up. This triggers a specific protein pathway in your cells called mTOR. Think of mTOR as your body's growth switch. But when you don't eat, your insulin drops and your body activates a completely different pathway called AMPK. And this is the repair and clearance switch. So you're either biasing your system toward growing or you're biasing it toward repairing.
So let's start our biological countdown at 12 hours, hormonal shifts. We are now crossing the threshold into the fasted state. What's happening inside you right now? Well, according to data from Dr. Eric Berg, at 12 hours, your insulin has dropped significantly. And to compensate, your body releases a massive spike in growth hormone. Now, growth hormone is incredible stuff. It's a powerful anti-aging trigger. It's basically your body's main fat-burning hormone, and it even helps heal your joints. People actually pay good money to get growth hormone injected for those exact healing properties. But your body, it just provides it for free, totally automatically, just by not eating for 12 hours.
But hey, let's balance this amazing biology with the harsh human reality, right? Ultramarathoner and venture capitalist Phil Sanderson does an intense 7-day fast every single year. And as he points out, day one is incredibly tough. While your body is busy spiking growth hormone, your brain is absolutely screaming at you. Your body is just so accustomed to its routine that during your normal mealtimes, you get these huge physical hunger pangs. It genuinely hurts as your body demands its usual fuel.
If you can push past that initial complaining, we hit 18 hours. Autophagy begins.
Now, what's really interesting here is this concept of autophagy. The word literally translates to self-eating. Because your body has absolutely no income in nutrients, it starts to scour your system for old, damaged proteins and microbes, and then it recycles them into new, usable amino acids. Guys, your body literally starts eating its own cellular garbage just to survive and renew itself. It's wild.
And why does this matter so much to us? Because the specific garbage it's cleaning up is incredibly harmful to just leave sitting around. Dr. Berg points out that autophagy actively targets things like advanced glycated end products, which is just a fancy term for sticky, damaged proteins that clog up your cells, as well as amyloid plaques, which build up in the brain and are strongly associated with cognitive decline. So hitting this 18-hour mark acts as a massive internal reset button. It actively prevents disease and slows down the aging process.
Moving right along to 24 hours, the ketone switch.
At this point, the stored sugar in your liver, your glycogen, is completely empty. Your body literally has to switch fuel sources to survive. It makes a major pivot and starts taking liver fat and turning it into ketones. Now, ketones are highly efficient, superior fuel for your brain and heart. And once you're running on them, it's like a biological switch flips. Your appetite and cravings, they just suddenly vanish. Systemic inflammation plummets. Your brain increases a factor called BDNF, which actually sparks the creation of brand new brain cells. Oh, and because your digestive system is completely resting, your gut finally gets a chance to heal, which is an absolute game changer for conditions like SIBO.
And this biological shift translates into a profound human experience. Listen to how Phil Sanderson describes hitting this stage of ketosis on his second night. That chaotic, screaming hunger of day one completely gives way to an immense physiological peace. He says he can literally feel his metabolism settling down, and it results in the absolute best sleep he gets all year.
Let's push further. 48 to 72 hours, renewal.
What happens when we push into extreme fasting territory? Dr. Berg highlights that hitting 48 to 72 hours leads to a massive stimulation of stem cells. These are those undifferentiated cells your body can release to repair tissues wherever they're needed most. You also start generating brand new mitochondria, literally the energy powerhouses of your cells. Your immune system hits peak function.
Now, obviously, this is a drastic biological state and you should approach it carefully, but it represents the absolute deepest levels of anti-aging and physiological repair we know of.
But getting there? Yeah, it's a massive mental hurdle. Sanderson shares this highly relatable struggle during days 4, 5, and 6 of his week-long fast. He talks about bonking, getting super lightheaded, and dealing with severe headaches. And then, think about the agonizing torture of conducting business meetings while smelling rich, incredible foods, all while your body is screaming for fuel and you're just sitting there nursing a water bottle.
Yet, the ultimate reward for enduring that trial is pretty incredible. By day 7, Sanderson describes reaching an unparalleled state of pure mental acuteness, spiritual enlightenment, and heightened physical awareness. He says he becomes completely attuned to what his body actually needs. And that very first meal back, which for him is just eggs from his own chickens and some toast, he says it tastes better than anything on earth. It completely resets his bad eating habits for months to come.
Which brings us to our final section. Surviving the fast. How do you actually harness these benefits?
Well, for Sanderson's extreme 7-day journey, he doesn't just drink plain water. He actually relies on a 75-year-old recipe called the Master Cleanse. It's this simple mix of water, lemon juice, cayenne pepper, and maple syrup. He drinks about 2 to 3 gallons of this a day, which gives him roughly 600 calories. So it's just enough to keep him moving and functioning, while still allowing his body to reap all those cleansing and resetting benefits of an extended fast.
But hey, you don't need to be on a 7-day cleanse to feel lightheaded during a fast. Dr. Huberman offers a brilliant, scientifically backed survival tip for the rest of us. If you're fasting and you start to feel shaky or lose your concentration, you probably think, oh, I need sugar. Actually, scratch that. You often just need salt. A small pinch of sea salt in a glass of water stabilizes your blood volume and literally acts as a mild glucose disposal agent. It's a remarkably simple zero-calorie trick to fix the bonk.
And for those of us who just want the everyday benefits without putting ourselves through an extreme endurance event, Dr. Huberman outlines some super practical rules for time-restricted feeding. The main goal here is just to tap into the natural fast that happens while you sleep. So, maintain a consistent 8-hour eating window. Wait at least 60 minutes after you wake up before you eat, and stop eating 2 to 3 hours before bed. And if you do end up eating late, a simple 20 to 30-minute walk after dinner accelerates glucose clearing, which helps your body transition back into that powerful AMPK repair state much, much faster.
So what does this all mean for us? We've seen exactly what happens when you stop eating, how your body flips that switch from constantly growing to meticulously cleaning and repairing itself. If our biology possesses this absolutely incredible built-in system for cellular renewal, are we completely missing out on our true physical and mental potential by never giving our bodies a break from digestion? It's a really powerful question to consider. Thank you so much for joining this explainer. I hope it gives you something to ponder as you plan the timing of your next meal.